Welcome back, everybody. Your man Diamond K in here, of course, the Diamond K Show, radio on fire.tv. It was a great, I've had a great week or so off. It has been a lot going on, and we have so many topics to touch on today. A full slate of topics here. We're going to talk about Marilyn Mosby and what is next for her after she's been convicted on perjury charges. I really thought that was going to go differently. I really thought that was going to go differently. It was it at one time, Marilyn Mosby was one of the most powerful law enforcement officials in the state of Maryland. Now she is likely to lose her law license, and she may even serve time behind bars after this conviction. We're going to talk about that. And DJ'd a birthday party over the weekend in Baltimore, actually in Arbutus areas, Baltimore County. And it was a lot of fun, and got to, it's like muscle memory, because I used to do parties every weekend, and I have not in several years, but taking on some bookings, and it was good. It was fun. I always talk to DJs, and when I ask DJs, what was the record that got the people on the floor for that party? Right. Some people have go-to records. I'm going to go to this record. I'm going to go to that record. Some people, it depends on the age group of the crowd. Right. It depends on what record gets them up, is dependent on that. And so yesterday, last night, I did this event, as I said, and I didn't have any expectations about what would be the song to get them on the floor. But it was interesting. Song is "Get Down on It." Get down on it. How you gonna do it if you really don't want to dance? By standing on the wall, back off the wall. That's the record that got people up, right? This was the 40th. The lady was 40 years old that had the birthday party. It was a surprise party for her at this venue called the Cellar, in Baltimore County. So that record surprised me that folks would get up. That was be the one to get folks up. Now this is before the honoree, the birthday girl, got there, right? And so that record got folks up. So I kind of stayed in that lane. Set It Off, Poison, uh, Cameo, Just Like Candy. I stayed in that kind of zone while that old school feel was working. We went Wifey, Just in Case, that kind of stuff. And then they get the call. She's coming. She's a couple blocks away, whatever. And so cut the music off. They cut the lights out, that kind of thing. And then come in, surprise, and then I drop the shine a light on them. Put the birthday person in the middle, that type of thing. And then we went to Jerusalem, and they stayed on the floor until they brought the food out, and food comes, and then folks are kind of eating their food and all that. And so then I go into this R&B, current R&B stuff that you hear on the radio type of stuff. And then after that, I'm like, okay, so mind you, we got a mixed crowd. You got older folks in there too. So I'm like, okay, do I really want to? I don't really want to get ratchet, right? You don't really want to get ratchet. So go back to playing some line dancing after they did a birthday game, gave the cake out, all that kind of stuff. So go back doing some more line dancing. And so the older folks are into it. The younger folks kind of got their arms folded. They kind of sitting back. So I knew one of the attendees, and she's an actress and she's an author. She's a friend of the show, Stephanie Randall. She's been on the show before, promoting her books, and as I said, she's been in music videos of mine, and I know her. So she's like, this girl, I know her. She likes to go out. Like, you need to take it to the club. Like, get ratchet. And I'm like, I don't really know. And so it's just like I was prepared to go, kind of family reunion style, not necessarily taking to the club. So I got through the radio songs. We did the line dance, and I'm like, okay, let's see. So I'm testing it out. So I throw on some, um, like, I would say like some hood songs, right? Well, but maybe not hood songs, the dirty versions. Let me say that through the dirty versions on, and they just responded to it. Now the older people got off the floor, the younger people come on the floor, and so we going sexy red, we doing, we doing Nikki, we doing Glorilla, we doing Gucci, we do, you know what I mean? We in that lane. And they were fine. Like it just, so I'm like, okay, we're gonna go here. So we just kept it there. We did club, we did all that. So it was just a lot of fun. And so yes, there was a time that I felt like, okay, I'm past the party stage. But I mean, I love music, I love DJing, and so there will be times where I will be on the turntables out doing events. Now, of course, I mix, here at Radio on Fire all the time. But it's different being in the studio mixing versus being out in a party or in a live setting, and I still love it. So I'm going to do that. Of course, djdiamondk at gmail.com. If you want to book me for something, djdiamondk at gmail.com. Of course, radioonfire.tv, the brand new radioonfire.tv. Of course, we're combining Radio on Fire, the radio shows, and our TV and video platform. So radioonfire.tv is our brand new address. Now, you're still going to see links to OnFire TV. That still will work, but you're going to see me pushing radioonfire.tv, radioonfire.tv. So had that over the weekend. But last week there was a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening, and we've got a full slate, as I said, to talk about. We're going to do this. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with this Marilyn Mosby conviction and what could be next. What could be next for the former Baltimore State's Attorney, Marilyn Mosby? You're listening to the Diamond K Show, of course, radioonfire.tv. We will be back right after this. And we are back. Your man Diamond K. So Marilyn Mosby was one of the most powerful law enforcement officials here in Baltimore, in the state. Things did not go well last week. The former top prosecutor for Baltimore was convicted by a jury of her peers on Thursday on two perjury counts. The jury probably got caught up on Miss Mosby and her income, said prominent defense attorney J. Wendell Gordon. He showed up in support of Mosby in court. And Gordon said that he sent Mosby a message after the verdict. All I could do is send her a message through text and say, "We're still praying for you and your family," Gordon said. So the jury found that Mosby lied to take money out of her retirement account, and she said that she suffered COVID-related losses for her Mahogany Elite travel business. Now, you may be saying a lot of people took hardship money. A lot of people's businesses were affected by COVID. She has a travel business. Why would that not be affected by COVID? On IG, she is promoting a Jamaican retreat for Mahogany Elite, so they have been able to bounce back. Prosecutors have given every indication that they will move forward with the mortgage fraud case, which was separated. In part, it accuses Mosby of illegally getting a lower interest rate for one of her Florida vacation homes by promising that she would not rent it out when she planned to do just that. Now, some of you may say, I mean, we see Trump on trial for fraud, his business fluctuating, increasing, decreasing the the business and different things for tax purposes and getting better loans and all kind of stuff, right? Inflating and deflating. And then you look at this former prosecutor who is this is not a civil case. This is a criminal case. And some may say that she brought it on herself. I don't know if I agree with that, but some people are going to say that. She's out of office. Hopefully, she does not serve any jail time. I don't think it's necessary to put Marilyn Mosby in jail. Now, some of you are going to say she's put people in jail. But this is just a sad story. What is next for her? I can't see a political career. But anything is possible. I talk about it all the time. Marion Barry came back after, for folks of a certain age, you'll remember Marion Barry, the mayor of D.C., who was caught on camera with some, hooker woman trying to buy drugs. It was a crazy situation. It was on video. But he was able to redeem himself and come back. America, Baltimore, the world loves a comeback story. And so I'm not counting Marilyn Mosby out. She does face a maximum sentence of 5 years in federal prison for each of the 2 counts of perjury. The district judge has not yet scheduled sentencing. Now, in a separate pending federal case, Mosby also faces 2 counts of making false mortgage applications related to the purchase of 2 vacation homes in Florida. So going back to Trump again, who operates like a mob boss, usually doesn't have his hands on the actual thing, usually doesn't even tell the person the actual crime that they commit, but it is understood. And he has somebody else doing paperwork, and he's far removed from things usually. That's how crime bosses operate. Marilyn Mosby didn't do that. She's an attorney. She felt like she could do her own paperwork, and um, those charges remain pending, and a trial date has not yet been set. Now, if she's convicted on those counts, Marilyn Mosby faces a maximum of 30 years in federal prison for each of the 2 remaining counts. Now, going back to Trump again, because a lot of people who don't like Marilyn Mosby like Donald Trump. And you can't say that you want her to go to jail for this, but you don't want Trump to go to jail for the 91 indictments that he has. All right. If you want a truly uh, blind judicial system, then one goes, both have to go based on charges, right? Now, I do want to say this, that actual sentences for federal crimes are typically less than the maximum penalties. So I don't think that she's going to jail for the rest of her life over this. But she may do some time. She may do some time. This perjury trial, it focused on allegations that she lied about COVID impacting her Mahogany Elite travel business that allowed her to withdraw thousands of dollars from her retirement early, penalty free. And with that, she bought 2 vacation homes in Florida. Mosby did not testify in the case. They did hear her voice, though, in several recorded phone calls with her retirement plans customer service representative as she tried to get money. The court publicly released 5 phone calls used as evidence in this case. They are from August, May, and December of 2020. Now, during a call that took place in August of 2020, Mosby asked questions about how she could get a withdrawal. She said, "Yeah, I need the emergency withdrawal option if you have that written out because I have the documents. In it, it specifies that you may withdraw funds when you," and she goes on, and it gives you three different scenarios. Mosby tells the representative for Nationwide, but the second one is really what my mortgage, the underwriter for the lending agency, is looking for. Experience a qualifying unforeseeable emergency that would cause you to have a financial hardship. Mosby asked, is the COVID exception still applicable? And how long is it going to be there? In the call from May of 2020, Mosby said, I want to know about the loan process and I want to know how to access those instructions for whatever that process is online. So they laid out their case with these phone calls, and prosecutors are alleging that the Mahogany Elite was a sham and that Mosby never intended to operate it and never took on a single client. So enemies of Marilyn Mosby um, have been rejoicing with what's going on with her. And the call from December of 2020, Mosby told a customer service representative, now I'm in a situation where I need this money and I'm trying to figure out if there's anything that I can do in order to start the process to get it. The representative responded, you haven't submitted a form for the COVID paperwork? No, I can do that, Mosby said. I can do that right now. Of course, when you lay it out this way, it looks how the prosecutors want it to look. Mosby later said that I had a lengthy conversation with the representative who explained to me what my options were. He told me about the CARES Act provision, and he explained to me what my deadline was. In fact, I needed to take out additional money. Mosby attorneys have argued that she is innocent and agreed with the terms of penalty of perjury to get the loan because she believed she was qualified for relief. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what she exactly lied about. She, of course, had a hardship. Even if you're just starting a business, if you haven't opened the doors yet, does that mean you don't have a hardship? I mean, there was no COVID. She would have opened her, she would have been popping potentially. Federal public defender played one of the calls during his closing argument, and he was trying to show the jury that Mosby was asking questions about the withdrawals because she wanted to make sure she was eligible and appropriately following the guidelines, not that she was being deceitful, her public defender said. He said that the COVID relief program provided limited guidance on eligibility and noted more than 700 other city employees took withdrawals under the same plan. But of course, they didn't have the enemies that Marilyn Mosby has. They also said that Mosby spent money trying to get the company off the ground, including the website and licensing for the business. Jury found Mosby guilty of perjury. They have their evidence. The jury has spoken. She is either going to um, appeal or not. I don't think she is. It doesn't look good. It is a sad day. It is a black eye for women, black women in politics in Baltimore. Another one. There have been several, but this it doesn't bring me joy. It doesn't bring me joy at all. Um, I really think that Marilyn Mosby did some good work. I really think that it is not over for her if she doesn't choose it to be. So, are you tired of lies? Are you tired of people spinning the facts? Join me here weekdays, 6 p.m. on the Diamond K Show, as I unpack the top news stories of the day, whether it's politics, music, pop culture. I give you nothing but the truth. Get the Diamond K Show daily on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Facebook, X, Twitter. I'm still getting used to that. Or radioonfire.tv, wherever you get your podcast or your entertainment. Just search the WK Show. Of course, radioonfire.tv is a 24/7 platform for news, opinion, conversation, entertainment. We can't do this without your help. So support us and become a member. You get exclusive content of the Diamond K Show. You can get exclusive mixes, or you can get access to everything that we have. You can become a patron, subscribe to us on YouTube for business ads, mentions, unboxing, posts, collabs. Hit me up, djdiamondk at gmail.com, djdiamondk at gmail.com. So, Virginia, let's talk a little bit about Virginia. Virginia showed Democrats the way that they can win in 2024. Oh, Republicans, they hoped that they could largely bring back that 2021 strategy in the state of Virginia. No, did not happen, fell flat. It was one of those things. 6 years ago, the elections for the Virginia state legislature were so close that control of the House of Delegates had to be determined by drawing a name out of a bowl. All right, so they're trying to decide a race that ended in a tie. You remember that? We talked about that. This year, the results were much clearer. Democrats won most of the battleground districts, held their majority in the state Senate, and retook the state House. Oh yeah, it was a beat down, a beat down, beat down. Now the results don't just vindicate the strategy that Democrats have been focusing relentlessly on abortion rights. It also shows that they need to not cower like they normally do and apologize when Republicans trot out familiar attacks about criminals running amok or wokeness in schools. Democrats need to be strong. Democrats need to stop being so passive, bashful. Virginia is steadily trending Democratic, and in recent years, as diverse as the DC suburbs have grown far more rapidly than the rural areas that Republicans dominate. So, Glenn Youngkin, the governor of Virginia, though he had some victories a couple years ago, and many observers thought hoped that he was going to do something, but combined with an attack on Democrats for wanting to quote unquote defund the police, a position almost no elected Democrat holds. Everybody, well, I'm not going to say everybody, but these elected officials want the police. It's not that. Um, it is definitely not that. They want the police. So I don't know any elected Democrat that wants to defund the police. Actually, Republicans had a new strategy to win, even in places where they struggle. Republicans knew that simply going back to 2021 would not be enough. So when the party has lost one election after another since the overturning of Roe versus Wade, which happened in June of last year, The roadmap is there. You have to focus on abortion, focus on the lies that were told by Republican after Republican after Republican. And you look at Virginia, Governor Youngkin supports making abortion illegal after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Now, there are exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. In practice, it is proven almost impossible for women to avail themselves of those exceptions where they are written into abortion bans. Now, if Republicans took full control of the state legislature, a ban was sure to follow. So here's what Republicans do. They will trot out these lies and say, Democrats want to have abortion on demand and up until the point where the baby's born. Nobody wants that. Nobody is calling for that. Nobody's advocating for that. In those rare instances where the life of the mother is at risk upon birth, those are the cases where that happens. But Republicans want to focus on that part, the lies, but not focus on the woman's right to choose. Now, nobody likes an abortion. Nobody wants to do that, generally speaking. But then you have circumstances and situations, and of course, the choice of that mother. So, Democrats have got to hammer this issue. Hammer this issue. What exactly Democrats do often is tell voters, please don't be mad at us. We're actually favoring something that is quite sensible. This attack, this strategy is a losing one. The battles are going to be intense. We need Democrats to stand up, have a backbone, show some courage. Show some courage. Now, in Virginia, you had this very, very heated debate over abortion around the country. Abortion. There's no middle ground with regards to that. Joe Biden is so scared of abortion, he doesn't even want to talk about abortion. He sends out VP Harris to do the talking. But whether you were for maintaining abortion rights or restricting them, Republicans are on the wrong side of that divide. And they know it. They've seen the effects of it. They know it. So, what they try to do is put crime at the center of many of their races, trotting out the same misleading attacks that they've used in the past. Republicans falsely accuse their Democratic opponents of wanting to defund the police. But those attacks have had the same impact now that they had back in the day. The power of the abortion issue seems to be stiffening the backbone and giving these Democrats a spine. Now, sometimes negativity is not just the most politically effective strategy. It's kind of the most informative way to campaign. Go negative and show the other side to be who they are. You have to attack Republicans on their desire to restrict abortion rights. It's not just the most politically effective strategy, it's also the most informative way. In context, I mean, Democrats have been undoubtedly shy and meek, but they need to be aggressive. They need to be proactive instead of always being reactive. 2024 is a serious, serious thing, and our country is on the line. So, 2024, the election, we've talked about it, and we're going to be talking about it much more. We have a lot of, I guess, just under a year to find out who's the new president is going to be. I can tell you who it's not going to be. It's not going to be South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. He abruptly ended his presidential campaign, shocking even his campaign staff. Right? Ain't nobody told me nothing. But the Republican candidate abruptly announced late yesterday that he was dropping out of the 2024 race. This surprised his donors, surprised his campaign staff. Just 2 months before the start of voting in Iowa, the GOP caucus, the South Carolina senator who entered the race in May, he had high hopes, made the surprise announcement on Fox Sunday Night in America with Trey Gowdy, one of his closest friends. The news was so unanticipated that one campaign worker told the Associated Press that the campaign staff found out Scott was dropping out of the race by watching the show. So much for communication. It's interesting that he chose to do it that way, but I think that that action and the way that he delivered the message is one of the many reasons why he should never be president. I mean, he shouldn't even he shouldn't even be a senator, but that's neither here nor there. Um, so Scott's departure, which was inevitable, uh, he had been struggling in this race that has been dominated by Trump. Is he trying to be vice president? Um, Possibly. The 4 criminal indictments aside, a slew of other legal challenges aside, Trump still continues to poll far ahead of his rivals. Now, understand this, and I've talked about it all the time. I don't care about polls. Who cares about polls a year out? But the donors seem to be influenced by this, leading many folks in the party to conclude that this race is effectively over. Barring some kind of stunning change health wise, it would have to be that, because nothing else seems to slow the momentum of Trump down. Scott is the second major candidate to leave the race since the end of October. Former VP Mike Pence suspended his campaign 2 weeks ago, announcing at the Republican Jewish Coalition gathering in Las Vegas that this is not my time. He sniffs a lot, but Pence was polling behind Scott and was definitely in a worse financial position. Scott said he wouldn't immediately be endorsing any of the Republican arrivals. Voters are really smart. He said the best way for me to be helpful is to not weigh in on who they should endorse, he says. So with Tim Scott leaving, the race now leaves Nikki Haley, the former United Nations ambassador and former South Carolina governor, as the sole South Carolinian in the race. As governor, Haley appointed Scott, then newly elected to his second U.S. House term, to the Senate in 2012. And the fact that they both were in the 2024 race created, I'm sure, an uncomfortable situation for many of the donors who have supported both of them over the years. So Tim Scott's out the race. There was the controversy with the girlfriend that he's supposed to have had and couldn't produce. They produced her last week, and it looked so awkward. It doesn't look like they even know each other. On X last night, Haley called Scott a good man of faith and an inspiration to so many, adding that the GOP primary was made better because of his participation in it. So she was being gracious with that one there, taking taking liberties. Many donors, as I said, surprised and saddened by Scott's announcement, though they praised him for stepping aside to give the Republicans a chance to coalesce behind a Trump alternative. That's the only way that they can do this. They need to coalesce behind Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis and try to, you know, get that Trump alternative there. But I don't know. The latest hope for the defeat of uh, uh, Trump by the Republicans is Nikki Haley. We'll see what happens there. I'm not sure if she can do it. Scott's next move is unclear. He said that his 2022 Senate reelection would be his last, and has at times been mentioned as a possible candidate for South Carolina governor, uh, which is up in 2026. Um, Governor Henry McMaster, a Trump backer, is term limited, and the GOP primary is expected to be very heated. So if he's going to get ready for that in 2026, Tim Scott is positioned well to get that role. But president is not going to happen for Tim Scott, nor should it. But if you folks in Carolina want to elect him to be the governor of your state, that's your business. But president, yeah, is going to be a very, very hard pass for me. When folks are accused of a crime or something looks fishy, the answer usually is to deny, deny, deny. New York Mayor Eric Adams, not a friend of the show. I think that he is a Democrat in name only. I think he's a Republican in his heart of hearts, as they say. The FBI seized electronic devices in a corruption probe. A very surprising turn of events. Mr. Law and Order had his electronic devices seized, the sitting mayor of New York City. So you have this ongoing investigation into his campaign fundraising. Sources have revealed that the documents confiscated include 2 cell phones and an iPad. The investigation um, revolves around allegations of collusion between Adams' 2021 mayoral campaign and the Turkish government and other entities funneling money into his campaign. Wait, what? Mr. Law and Order, right? Oh, looks really, really bad. Now, the Adams campaign attorney, Boyd Johnson, has assured the public that the mayor is fully cooperating with the federal authorities. Now, what this means for his future, can the folks of New York still have confidence in Mayor Adams? I don't know. Johnson explained that during an internal review, it was discovered that an individual had acted improperly. In the interest of transparency and cooperation, Adams promptly reported this behavior to investigators. So they're trying to paint him, his attorney's trying to paint him as the good guy here. And we'll see if he really is the good guy. FBI reportedly approached Adams on Monday evening after an event, and he willingly handed over his electronic devices. This is last week. It is important to note that Adams has not been accused of any wrongdoing at this stage. We don't know whether that will happen or not. He continues to participate willingly in this investigation. Says that he has nothing to hide. As a former member of law enforcement, I expect all members of my staff to follow the law and fully cooperate with any sort of investigation, and I will continue to do exactly that. I have nothing to hide, he said. I think that he would fire somebody under uh, that was in this situation. Not necessarily calling for his firing, but it does not look good that the sitting mayor, the sitting mayor of New York, had his electronic devices seized. It looks, it just looks crazy. It looks really, really crazy that this is happening. Examining the feds are whether the 2021 campaign accepted illegal donations from the Turkish government. uh, so his home of the Mayor Adams' chief fundraiser was raided on November 2nd. This broad criminal inquiry into the funding practices of Mr. Adams' 2021 campaign has now spilled into public view. We can see everything that's going on now. Well, not everything, but we're getting information late. He is only 2 years into his first term. Now, Mr. Adams has been confronted with the migrant crisis and the city's struggle to recover from the pandemic, along the intense scrutiny of chaotic and violent conditions at Rikers Island. Um, is he going to end up at Rikers Island? No. The personal and public relations perspective, things are bad. An investigation into his fundraising is probably going to be the largest, the steepest challenge yet for the mayor. Now, he has already raised more than 2.5 million for his reelection bid in 2025. So the feds are investigating Mayor Adams' campaign. So, did they receive illegal foreign donations? Foreign. So, this whole thing busted into public view on November the 2nd. November 2nd, the FBI raided the home of Brianna Suggs, the mayor's chief fundraiser, as part of a broad public corruption inquiry. That's how it started. A fake donor scheme. The feds are seeking information about whether the Adams campaign used so-called, what they call straw donors. Now, this is a tactic used to funnel illegal contributions to candidates from secret sources. Now, Brianna Suggs is an inexperienced 23-year-old, was an unusual choice to run Adams' big money fundraising operation. Now 25, she is embroiled in a very sprawling investigation with an uncertain outcome. So you say we want to get an outsider. You get an outsider, you get somebody too young, and you see what that is. So now this thing is at the doorstep of the mayor, Mayor Adams, who is facing ethics issues for years, has not been implicated in any misconduct. The investigation involving his chief fundraiser has pulled him in and drawn him even closer. So they raided her house. Now, it has, I want to say this, he has not been accused of any wrongdoing. The mayor was in Washington, D.C. on the morning of the raid and had plans to speak with the White House and members of Congress about the migrant crisis. He abruptly canceled those meetings and returned back to New York. So days after Miss Suggs' house was raided, the federal agents approached Mr. Adams after an event in Manhattan, asked him, his security detail, to step aside and got into the SUV with him. The FBI seized the 2 cell phones and the iPad from the mayor, copied the devices, and returned them within days, said his attorneys. So this is an interesting situation here. We're definitely going to keep you posted on this. This is going to um, be updated as needed. If you have thoughts on this, I'd love to hear those in the comment section, or hit me up at the Diamond K Show um, on all social media, or djdiamondk at gmail.com. So the beloved actress, entertainer, Keke Palmer, she is at the center of mess, foolishness with the father of her child, um, and I guess her ex-boyfriend. Um, it's such a delicate thing. Uh, I hate to see families break up, but a lot of times circumstances force that to happen. Keke Palmer has been granted temporary sole custody of her son, and her mother had some harsh words for the Jacksons. Darius Jackson is her ex-boyfriend, Keke's ex-boyfriend. There seem to have been many problems before the breakup. Keke Palmer filed for full custody of the 8-month-old child amid this drama. Oh, and there's a lot of drama. If we go back to how she was dressed, and he was, some pictures, whatever, he was talking crazy. What happened in Vegas, and um, the Usher concert, and that whole thing, um, and it's just been so many folks in their business in this public relationship. Keke is 30 years old. And as I said, she is seeking sole and physical custody of her 8-month-old son with Darius Jackson, per the court documents that were filed on Thursday last. Initially, her reasoning was unclear, but it has been discovered that she also filed for a restraining order claiming abuse at the hands of Darius Jackson. So, in her petition for full custody, the actress elected to pay for the reasonable expenses of pregnancy and birth. She asked that both parties be responsible for their respective legal fees. I think that is fair. The documents also note that the court may take orders for the child support and the issue of earnings um, assignment without further notice to either party. This is going to be in the public. This is going to be very triggering for some, right? Whenever you have allegations of abuse, it is definitely triggering. But this is something that's been going on. This is a public couple, well, at least Keke's public. And so on November the 2nd, he tweeted, "Just thank God and keep it pushing." And he reposted the day prior tweet, "Being betrayed by someone that you loved really changes your mindset." The father of one also reposted another melancholy tweet that said, "Nobody apologized for how they treated me. They just blamed me for how I reacted," he said. So they had a interesting relationship, um, but the pair has been having issues ever since Palmer danced with Usher at the Las Vegas residency over the summer back in July. Jackson publicly shamed her for her outfit that she wore to the concert. It was a whole thing, and so much about this relationship is triggering for folks. So much of it is triggering. So at the time, so she, the outfit that she wore, she looked amazing in the outfit. He said that it's the outfit, though. You a mom, he tweeted at the time. It sparked a lot of negative backlash online. My thing is that social media has become a place that people criticize each other. If he had worn something and Keke saw it and commented, "You're a father, or you're a boyfriend, or you're a husband. You shouldn't be dressed like that, and be a man," or something to that effect, there would have been no backlash like that. Not like how it was the other way around. Um, but I wanted to highlight that. Now, despite this criticism, Jackson doubled down on his point of view, stating that he has standards and morals, and he didn't appreciate how she was dressed. And I don't have a problem with him saying it to her. I'm surprised that he chose to say it publicly. Uh, but the scrutiny became so extreme that he later deleted his account, temporarily anyway. Palmer, for her part, took the controversy with stride by selling "I'm a Mother" merch, boasting about freedom, and later appearing with Usher in his Boyfriend music video. So, you have that going on in the background. It was reported in August that the pair broke up, but then they took to social media to slam the false reports. So they tried to work it out. Palmer then celebrated Jackson's 30th birthday with him later that month, and the two went to Beyonce's Renaissance concert in September. The couple first publicly acknowledged their relationship in 2021. So this is all over the place. Who knows where these two end up? Um, has she been staying just because of the kids? She was trying to, um, you know, make it work because of the children, because of the child, who's an 8-month old. Um, I mean, if there's any abuse, there have been still photos shared of uh, something that just doesn't look well, and uh, yeah, I don't know. If you're getting abused, you definitely should leave. No, no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Um, but an accusation is an accusation. We'll have to see what happens. I just don't know. I want everybody to be the best that they can possibly be. But if she's being abused by her son's father, it's time to go. There's no other way that we can look at that. There's no other way that we can dissect that or spin it. You know what I mean? But she's accusing him, the ex-boyfriend, of abuse, and the judge has granted this temporary restraining order. It's going to be very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. We're going to continue to follow this story as it continues to evolve. It is evolving. It is it is an evolving situation, and I just wish the best for Keke and her son. I want the best for Darius as well, and if he needs help, if he needs to uh, you know get something done, go somewhere, talk to somebody, then you need to do it. But you don't need to be putting your hands on anybody because things don't go the way that you want them to go. Um, and I don't have any children, but if I had a son, it's one of the main lessons that I would be hammering home to that young man, and it should be hammered to Darius Jackson as well. So Meek Mill calls out rappers' lyrics being used against them in court. And I've talked about this before. Uh, I don't think that rappers' lyrics should be used against them in court. Um, as a general rule, because there's so many lies that are told in songs. It's just there's so many lies that are told in songs, and folks just the politics of the justice system, politics and the justice system. Many of our folks don't pay attention the way that they should. Don't. Um, I just I don't know. Rappers getting locked up for rapping is is interesting. You don't have directors or writers being arrested because of the movie scripts that they write or direct. You don't. You don't. Meek Mill previously commented on Young Thug's case, saying that he thinks that the YSL rapper is going to beat the case due to how messy the details of the legal proceedings have been. That situation over there is crazy. The YSL situation, crazy. Um, but you know, hip hop, music in general is art. It's art. Do the rock and roll singers do they hold the, do they pull up their lyrics? No, I mean I don't know. But using these rappers' lyrics when so many rappers lie to me on songs is a bit rich. It's a bit rich, and I just don't see how it is a sustainable thing. I don't see how it is. Two men have been arrested at Dulles Airport on felony rape charges. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers arrested two men at Washington Dulles International Airport wanted for rape and felony charges in Montgomery County, Maryland. Adam Aguilar Cruz, a 28-year-old El Salvadorian man, was arrested on November the 3rd. He was wanted for felony strong arm and second degree rape charges, third degree sex offenses, and second degree assault charges. Cruz was in the country illegally and was apprehended trying to leave the country on a late flight that Thursday that was going to El Salvador. Customs and Border Protection officers later arrested Frank Miguel Murillo, 25-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen from the Dominican Republic. Murillo was wanted for felony first-degree rape and was deported from Colombia. He arrived at Dulles Airport under escort by Colombian immigration authorities. News regarding these arrests was released today. So, arriving to Dulles Airport under scrutiny by Colombia immigration authorities. These Colombian authorities bring, so it's they're accused of these crimes, and if they are guilty, then they should go down. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. It is not really difficult. Lastly, the possible government shutdown could affect thousands here in Maryland, and uh, affect folks across the country. A large portion of Maryland federal workforce could be impacted by this potential government shutdown. That is 150,000 federal employees who could be forced to work without pay or be furloughed if the Congress cannot agree on the November 17th deadline. Congress passed a 45-day stopgap spending bill in the end of September that was intended to give lawmakers more time to figure out a long-term budget deal. But we are not there yet. If the government shutdown does begin next week, certain federal workers in Maryland would be eligible to apply for non-interest loans. Yeah, so that is one of those things, and talk about kicking the can down the road. Of course, if you're tired of lies, if you're tired of people spinning the facts, join me weekdays, 6 p.m. for the Diamond K Show as I unpack the top news stories of the day. Whether it's politics, music, pop culture, I will give you nothing but the truth. Get the Diamond K Show daily on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Facebook, X, or RadioOnFire.tv, the WRF radio app, with just 24/7 digital news. Follow me on all social media at the Diamond K Show. Support what we do here. Become a member. You can get exclusive content, the bonus show. So we do the daily show. Then we have the bonus show, which is just for our members. And if you're a member, then you'll be able to get the bonus show. And you can support us, radioonfire.tv, become a member for any business ads, mentions, unboxing, posts, collabs. Hit me up, djdiamondk at gmail.com. As I said, become a member. We have a couple of different tiers. We have a tier where you can just get exclusive mixes from me. We have a tier where you can get the Diamond K radio show and the bonus show. And then you can get on all access pass for all of our content. You can do all of that. radioonfire.tv. Of course, I'll be back here tomorrow. And for members, stay tuned.